Hello dear students, welcome back to your chemistry class. So I hope that by now you are clear with what are molecules and how the atoms will combine together in order to form a molecule. We have also seen what are diatomic molecules, triatomic molecules and polyatomic molecules. So today we are going to see what are compounds and few of its characteristics in detail. Just like atoms combine together in order to form molecules, molecules will combine together in order to form compounds. We have already learned that compounds are made up of two or more different elements. And this can be broken down into simpler substances, that is into elements, by chemical means or by chemical reactions. So compounds are pure substances that are made up of two or more different elements that are combined chemically in a fixed proportion. We have already seen this example of iron sulfide compound in our previous class, where the atoms of sulfur element will combine with the atoms of the element iron in order to form the iron sulfide compound, where the iron sulfide compound is made up of the iron sulfide molecules. Let's take the example of the compound water. This compound water, or otherwise chemically called as H2O, is formed by the combination of H2O molecules. That is, only if two atoms of hydrogen will combine with one atom of the element oxygen, it forms a molecule. And a combination of such molecules can only form the compound water. So here we can say that these are chemically in a fixed proportion. Same is the case of carbon dioxide compound, wherein one atom from the element carbon will combine with two atoms of the element oxygen in order to form a carbon dioxide molecule. And a combination of these carbon dioxide molecules will result in the formation of the compound carbon dioxide. Likewise, in the case of nitrogen dioxide, one atom of the element nitrogen will combine with two atoms of the element oxygen in order to form a nitrogen dioxide molecule. And a combination of these nitrogen dioxide molecules will result in the formation of the compound nitrogen dioxide. Similarly, calcium oxide and zinc chloride. In case of calcium oxide, one atom of the element calcium will combine with one atom of the element oxygen in order to form a calcium oxide molecule. And these calcium oxide molecules will combine together in order to form the compound calcium oxide. Similarly, for zinc chloride, one atom of the element zinc will combine with two atoms of the element chlorine in order to give the molecule zinc chloride. And these zinc chloride molecules will combine together in order to form the compound zinc chloride. Now let us see few of the characteristics of compounds. Elements in a compound are present in a definite or in a fixed proportion. That is, only two atoms of hydrogen should combine with one atom of oxygen in order to give a molecule of water. And the combination of these water molecules will give rise to the formation of the compound H2O. So, only if the two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen, we can say that a molecule of water is formed. So, this we call as the definite proportion. The second characteristic is that compounds have a definite set of properties. That is, the properties of the compound water are completely different from the properties of its elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. And the next characteristic is that elements in compound cannot be separated by any of the physical methods. That is, for example, in the compound iron sulfide, We know that the atoms of iron and atoms of sulfur will combine together to form iron sulfide molecule, where iron sulfide molecules will combine to form iron sulfide compound. But in this case of iron sulfide compound, it is noted that iron cannot be separated from this compound of iron sulfide. This cannot be done by any physical methods. That is, if we try to separate iron with the help of magnet from this iron sulfide compound, it cannot be done. So, we say that elements in the compound cannot be separated by any physical methods. Now, let us have a comparison of elements and compounds. We have already understood what are elements and what are compounds. Now, we are going to see how element differs from that of compound. Elements are made up of one kind of atoms. As you can see here, it consists of one kind of identical atoms. But in case of compounds, they are made up of two or more different kind of atoms. It is to be noted that both elements and compounds are pure substances. In case of element, it consists of all the same kind of atoms. But in the case of compound, compound consists of same kind of molecules. Like in the case of sulfur element, it consists of only sulfur atoms. But in case of the compound water, it consists of only the molecules of water. So we can say that they are pure substances. And elements cannot be broken down into simpler substances by physical or chemical methods. While in the case of compounds, compounds can be broken down into simpler substances by chemical methods. We know that in case of element, for example, take the element sulfur. If you try to break the element sulfur into simpler substances, you finally end up with the same element, that is sulfur. But in the case of compound, if you try to break a compound, that is, say for example, water compound, if we try to break it into simpler substances by any chemical methods, what we get are the simpler substances, that is elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen elements. So it can be broken down into simpler substances. Elements have their own set of properties, while compounds properties will differ from those of their elements. As we have already seen here, elements hydrogen will have a definite set of property, element oxygen will have a definite set of property. But when it comes to compound, the properties of the compound will completely differ from the properties of its elements. As we have seen that the property of water, the compound water, is completely different from the properties of its elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen.